As entrepreneurs, we're always looking for ways to streamline our businesses and to cut costs. But when it comes to hiring a marketing virtual assistant overseas, the question of ethics always arises. Is it really worth it? So I'm Kirsten with Six Figure Business Coaching and the co-creator of the Marketing VA Advantage. Join me as we explore the pros, the cons, and the controversies around hiring overseas. And make sure to stay till the end of the video because I'm going to give you some tips on hiring a marketing virtual assistant ethically. To be clear, we're not talking about large corporations where there can be huge issues like poor conditions and standards, using child labor, human rights issues, bribery and corruption. These things are horrific, and as a consumer, I do my best to not buy things for companies who actually engage in that type of behavior. So this is Kiva. She decided she was going to be in the video today. So what we are talking about is hiring a marketing virtual assistant who works from their home and who works the hours that were agreed upon for a fair wage in the country that they live in. So first, I want to talk about a couple of the cons that I always hear because these are things that people actually approach me to talk about. And the first one is you're taking away jobs from people in your own country. So whether that's the USA or Canada or the UK or Australia, people often feel like by outsourcing overseas, by hiring a marketing virtual assistant in the Philippines, you're actually taking away a job from someone locally, and that affects the overall economy. And because we do specialize in marketing virtual assistants, we often hear things from social media managers or video editors that this really cuts into their way of making a living. And now we're actually hearing a lot of comments about AI and how they now have to contend with AI and how that's affecting their businesses. I feel like as things change, we have to evolve with the times in order to stay in business. But I completely respect people who feel like they really need to hire from their own country and who can afford to do that. So again, this is just personal preference. If you feel like if you're providing a job, it needs to be someone in your country or maybe in your community, that is a personal choice and I completely respect it. So the second con I completely agree with. People are treated poorly. So after hiring lots of virtual assistants to work for our business, and now we hire and train virtual assistants for all of our clients' businesses, we get to talk to a lot of different virtual assistants. And sometimes I am shocked with the experiences that they've had. They have people who yell at them, who expect them to work crazy hours, who don't pay them. They've worked a couple of weeks and they never get pay. Or having a boss that expects them to come in and run their business without any instruction or direction. So trust me, one of the big cons of hiring overseas is the fact that people can be poorly treated. However, I feel like this is really changing, especially in the past few years, because more and more virtual assistants are finding that they can work for ethical, good people. So I 100% agree that it's unethical, it's tragic, it's horrible that when someone hires someone overseas, they treat them very poorly, expect them to be able to do everything, don't spend time training them. So I get that. But again, I think that's a problem of the person who's hiring, not the person on the other side. We have to be good bosses in order for it to be ethical to hire overseas. So Kiva decided she wanted down, so it's just us again. So let's talk about a couple of the pros. And the first one is obviously cost savings. It's exponentially more affordable to hire overseas. For example, in the Philippines, the cost of living is 80 to 85% less than it is here in the US. For a lot of business owners, it's either hiring overseas or not hiring at all because they simply can't afford to hire in their own country. And here's something that we see happen time and time again. One of our clients will hire someone overseas to help them with their marketing because obviously we focus on marketing virtual assistants. And what happens is as their business grows, they're then able to hire people in their own country. So for example, we were working with a person who does professional organizing. And so she would do a lot of marketing and she'd get really busy and then she'd stop marketing and then she'd be slow. So when she hired a marketing virtual assistant and she was able to consistently market her business, then she didn't have those ups and downs. And she was eventually able to hire not just one, but 3 professional organizers to join her team. Another thing we have to take into consideration is the fact that if you hire overseas and your business does really well, then you're putting more money into your local economy. You as the business owner can afford housing, you can afford clothing, you can afford to buy new cars, you can afford to put your kids through college, whatever that is. So as a business owner, I feel like when we do really well, our communities do well because we're putting that money back out into our communities. If you're connecting with this comment, please give us a thumbs up because it lets YouTube know that we're creating content that you're enjoying. Also subscribe if you haven't already. So let's get on to the second pro. So the second pro is it frees up the business owner's time and focus. And what I mean by that is as a business owner, you started your business because you're a coach or you're an interior designer or you own a moving company. You started a business because you love what you do. You knew you could truly help people with the services you offer. Then you start a business and you realize you have to wear a dozen different hats. So now you're the head of marketing. You have to take care of bookkeeping. You've got to figure out pricing structures. If you want to set up something like a course or a program, you've got to figure out how to do that with all the technology. So all of a sudden, you're wearing a lot of hats that you didn't necessarily sign up for, and often they're things that you don't really enjoy. So when you outsource overseas, you can actually spend your time and energy focusing on the things that you love about your business. It's the best way to serve your clients, and it's the best way to grow your business. And I feel like that's a huge pro. As a business owner, I didn't start a business to do a ton of things that I'm not good at, that I don't like doing, and that I don't want to spend the time learning. So by outsourcing those things, I'm giving a job to someone who truly loves video editing and graphic design and social media management, and I get to spend my time helping my clients. And I think that's really important. How much happier would you be in your business if you only had to focus on the things that you love doing? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to hire ethically, I'm going to give you a few things to consider. But before I do, we have a fantastic free guide for you called Double Your Income with a Marketing Virtual Assistant. If you're really thinking about hiring a marketing virtual assistant, you should check it out. So the first thing you want to do if you're thinking about hiring overseas is write a job description. What do you really want the person to do for you? And my number one tip here for ethically hiring is you're not going to find someone who's going to be good at every single thing out there, right? So if you want someone who's going to be a bookkeeper and who's going to be able to build funnels and who's going to be able to do video editing and who's going to be a community manager and who's going to be able to do email follow-up for you, you're asking too much of one person. So focus on writing a job description for a specific job that has specific skills, both hard and soft skills. If you do this, then you're hiring someone who's going to do what they love doing. They're going to bring a lot of value to your company, and you're going to hire someone who's going to stay with you for years. So my second tip to hiring ethically is learning about the culture. We've hired in 6 different countries, and let me tell you, it was a lot to learn. We ended up building most of our team in the Philippines. So if you're going to hire overseas, it's really important to learn about cultural differences, and that includes communication style. If you take the time to do this, it'll be much easier to build an open, honest relationship with your virtual assistant and have great communication. The third thing is make sure to have a system and process in place before you hire. Because remember, when you bring someone on, you need to train them. They can't read your mind, so make sure you have a structure to manage them, whether that's a project management software, whether you're using Google Drive. Make sure you have either recorded videos for training or you have time to spend with them training them. Because again, they don't know your business and they don't know what you like, dislike, and your expectations. So my fourth tip is be a good boss. Everybody wants a good virtual assistant or a good employee. And where that starts is with us. So if we focus on becoming the best boss we possibly can, I can promise it'll have the trickle-down effect. Now, I know from working with some of our clients, they've had experiences in the past where they've been managers and they didn't feel like they did a good job. In fact, a couple of them actually hated it. And that led them to believe that they couldn't be good bosses. And there's nothing further from the truth. Being a good boss is like any other skill. It's something you can learn. And the best part is it'll pay off in dividends. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful.